So bamboo toothbrushes, if you ditch your plastic ones in favour of these, because toothbrushes can't be recycled, and there's probably a very good chance that our toothbrushes are sitting on the landfill somewhere, and that's pretty gross. So I use bamboo toothbrushes. I absolutely love them. Um, just replace them every 3 months, and that's fine. This particular, I can't remember the brand, but they get you get this really cool. You can order this really cool travel case as well. It's brilliant for if you go traveling or something like that. But I'll put the link below. I'll have to have a look to see who it is, and I'll put the link below so you can get yours yourself. A lot of wrapping paper is actually made out of plastic. So think about opting for wrapping paper that can actually be recycled. And if you're not sure whether wrapping paper can or cannot be recycled, what you need to do is go online and search scrunch test, and you'll probably find some videos on how you can tell the difference between what can be recycled and what not, and how to quickly identify what can and what cannot. So a great way to avoid food waste is if you go to a buffet, don't overfill your plate, because the great thing about buffets is that you can go back. So just put on your plate what you think you're going to eat, and if you once you finished it and you're still hungry, you go back again and get some more. You don't have to worry about food waste. So only take what you're going to eat. It's really frustrating when you've got an appliance and it just stops working. Um, I think we are really used to just throwing it away and just buying a new one. So let me give you an example. I've got a kettle, and as we all know, kettles they need descaling every so often. Um, and a friend of mine, she had a kettle for about 2 years, and she didn't descale it at all. Understandably, it stopped working the way it was supposed to. And what she did, she threw it away and she just bought another one. Now I said to her, I said, why didn't you descale it? She goes, oh, I couldn't be bothered. Now obviously that means that it's cost her more money. It might have been cheaper if she tried to descale it herself. What I have seen a rise in is repair shops, and obviously there's the BBC program about it as well, on how to repair something and bring it back to like its original form. But if there is a way that you're able to repair something, obviously don't hurt yourself. You don't want to stop playing around with electrics or anything like that. See if you can find a local repair cafe who might be able to get your device or your whatever it is working how it was supposed to work. And plus, that's going to save you money again in the future as well. So that's something worth considering. Something that I wasn't really taught at school was how to repair clothes. And I'm not talking like an expert, I'm talking about, learning to sew a button back on, or just like doing just the bottom of a hem, or even don a sock. Now, I'm not an expert at all when it comes to needlework, but if I've got, like for example, if my daughter's got a hole in a pair of sock, I will repair it for her. I've only got like a little kit. I've got a sewing machine as well, but obviously I'm not going to lug that out for just repairing a small hole in the sock. There are loads of videos on YouTube that show basic repair skills, and I think learning how to repair clothes is such an important life skill, not just for women, men as well. Um, and it saves you money as well. There's nothing. I knew somebody who she threw a shirt away because one of the buttons had popped off and she didn't know how to sew it back on, and that obviously that meant she had to replace it, which meant obviously it cost her money. But just simple repairs, just learning how to do simple things like how to sew on a button, how to do just basic repairs, I think will probably save you a lot of money in the future. A great tip for reducing water is to fix leaky taps. Now, it reduces your overall consumption. I think people don't realize how much water they can waste or gets wasted from leaky taps. Now, this was a couple of years ago, I had a leaky tap, and before I contacted somebody, a plumber, to obviously get it fixed, I actually put a bucket in the sink, just out of interest to see how much water wasted. Now it was quite a big bucket, and it was probably about 5 liters of water. Just I think I put it in the sink probably about 8 o'clock at night, and then I checked again at 8 o'clock in the morning. So it's what, 12 hours. Um, yeah, that's quite a lot of water that just would have gone down the sink. Well, did go down that bucket didn't, but obviously before I did that, a lot of water was going down the sink. So get leak taps, get them fixed as soon as possible, because that you waste so much water from doing that. When you go to the supermarket, try and opt for fruit and veg without plastic. There is, to a certain extent, I think there are certain items that need some sort of plastic wrapping just to preserve the food for longer. But for example, bananas do not need to come in a plastic bag. Okay, they don't need to. I think recently there was a UK supermarket that said potatoes need to be stored in paper bags. And I remember reading this on social media. I think it was on Twitter. And of course, I went straight to the comments section. And the amount of people said, well, why don't you sell potatoes in paper bags then? If you're telling us to do it, how about you sell it in paper bags? Try and get fruit and veg where you can, just buy them loose, and that just reduces the necessary unnecessary waste for all this plastic. There's so much of it is really really not needed. So for example, you can buy apples loose. They don't need to come in a plastic bag. Bananas, like I mentioned, they don't need to come in a plastic bag. So just think about when you're at the supermarket, do you can you get a loose version of what it is that you're trying to get? I think I heard Martin Lewis mention this one, and he said heat the home when you're in it, which makes complete sense. Now, obviously, that means that you are benefiting from the heat in your home, because obviously you want to keep yourself warm. It doesn't make sense heating the home when you're not in it. Um, Sometimes it's nice to come home to a warm house, and if that's the case, just change your timer and make sure, if you know what time you're coming home, put the heating on for about, I don't know, half an hour just before you're due to come home. That's also a really good way of saving money. Yeah, but heat the house when you're in it. So there's that one. One of the things that I actually love that I've been doing in the last couple of years is having houseplants. They're a really good way of purifying the air. So I've got a spider plant, and I've got I've got 3 snake plants and 2 peace lilies. I've got an orchid, and I've got some other ones as well. Now, way back when, I was given, I think I bought a plant. I think it was a cactus, really little thing, and yeah, I killed it. I don't know how you kill a cactus, but I managed to kill a cactus. But now that I've learned how to look after plants and bottom up watering, there is a link on my there's a blog on my website that shows exactly how um, I use this technique to make sure I don't overwater my plants, because otherwise, if you water your plants and then you've just got water sitting at the bottom of the pot, eventually the roots will start rotting and everything like that. So if you want, get house plants. They actually there are quite a lot of house plants that are really really low maintenance. I've gotten better at looking after plants, so I would suggest, if you want to help purify the air, and plus having green in your house is actually quite nice, because it just makes you feel good. So it's also a really good way of caring about something else as well. So get plants for your house. So when it's time to replace your white goods, your washing machine, your dishwasher, your fridge, have a look at the energy saving symbols, and you'll see an energy saving rating. And by law, in the UK anyway, white goods have to display this. And it's a really good way of telling you whether that appliance is energy efficient. One of the appliances that I've noticed are really, really bad are TVs. The energy rating for TVs are really, really low. I think for a lot of them, because they don't actually have an off button, they still have them on standby. Even though something's on standby, you're still using electricity. So I don't understand why you can't just have an off button. But anyway, that's a whole different story. So look for energy saving ratings on any appliances that you're going to be buying in the future.